and Jarvan the bans away by anyone's legend.
Yeah, so just, you know, limiting these sort of engage options that can cause potential problems for the Aphelios. We see Weibo looking at the Camille, looking at potential things that could be an issue for ZDZ on that counter pick, right? Once again, they can set that up pretty easily. We expect the support to come in, pick number 4 for the side of anyone's legend, and ZDZ will really have his choice in the matchup, and knowing he's not dealing with Gwen puts him in a good space. Now, Thresh makes a lot of sense for that defensive peel role, but you could go in a completely different direction, right? Lulu open and available, which it wasn't last time. Lulu just really good into Rakan because when he dashes in, you can just polymorph him. You can bust up the Aphelios, but the downside is we want to see aggression in this bot lane. We want to see anyone's legend play through bot, so I want an engaged support here.
And Chocho has been one of the best performing members on the squad, right? Like, he is one of the ones calling the targets, being able to have that proactivity and engagements for the team and for everybody else to follow up. So having these key pieces like the Nautilus form is super, super important. Maybe that changeup could have borne fruit somewhere else, but I think that this is a combo that works out for them, especially with that Aphelios, as it is looking like a bit of a run back. Maybe since we don't have the Gwen, you got to obviously change that top side of the map. Trundle is the response from SOFM into Xiaohao's Xin Zhao, and Jace comes through, which was banned away in that game 1.
Yeah, we might end up just seeing the Graves picked into it. Something we've often seen is this matchup where both of which are just looking to kind of scale up. The Jace can potentially all in the Graves, but the Graves can sort of sustain up in the longer trades once he gets the shield bow. I think, though, looking at Weibo's composition, the poke is a little bit obscene, right? They have great tools for disengaging, like the pillar, like the Rakan. You know, we talked before about how this Xayah Corki backline is very hard to get on top of. If you look at the poke, just that they can fire across, it is very scary for anyone's legend. I think if we end up with a similar situation with an inactive early leading into sort of a late game where Weibo are in control, I think anyone's legend are really in a rough spot, which is why we need to see that aggression bot lane, and we need to see Maple banning priority, roaming down, stacking waves with the bot lane, and then diving Guangfeng and on. Because if that doesn't happen, I think Weibo just win by default.
Yeah, I mean, all eyes are on the bottom side of the map for anyone's legend. They've got to get the tools down, and they've got to get involved early on. Xiaohao being one of those very aggressive early junglers, we got to see that in this series. If he has any hope against SOFM, and especially against this Weibo squad, who showed complete domination in the first game. I like the mention of the poke for Weibo. I do also want to mention they still have the safety of the Xayah for Huanfeng. They still have the same tools that they had in game number 1. Whereas for anyone's legend, it feels like they are set up better, at least for the early and mid game, right? You're not singly relying on the late game like they were in game number 1.
I think they have more proactivity, right? And that's what I want to see. I want to see them make things happen in the bot lane. I don't want to see them just sitting back and chilling, because if they do, they will lose, right? And I think Weibo kind of even a bit more extreme version of that comp from game 1.
Indeed, as we see the champions, the players coming on to the screens here. Summoner's Rift is loading up, and we're getting ready for our second game of the day. Anyone's legend taking on Weibo Gaming. Weibo looking mighty fine in game number 1. See if they can continue that into the night, or if we get to have ourselves a juicy 3-game first series as we do hit the Rift. And Ox, I couldn't be more excited.
Likewise, and I've said it again, and I've said it again. I want to see what Xiaohao can do, because the expectation is this aggression, right? This is what we've seen from him typically, and that's what I want to see here. I want to see him make things happen. SFM has a Trundle again, so interacting with him maybe not going to be the best time, but make things happen bot. And we do see Huanfeng's actually gone for the cleanse, so a bit of defense against the potential CC that can come out from Maple. Obviously, Vex can be absolutely devastating. We've seen Xiaohu with great performances on it. The fear is so frustrating to deal with.
It absolutely is, and need that safety on top of safety for Huanfeng with the blade collar and everything coming along those lines. So I like to see it. Say that the lethal tempo on the Trundle still always just gets me. I think it's hilarious, but it's so darn lethal, as is the namesake for the jungler, and we saw a lot of that success through SOFM last game.
Yeah, you can really just stat check in melee range, right? Someone comes up to you and you have so much attack speed, you steal the AD as well. It becomes very hard for melee champions to really do much. And we've seen Chocho go with the Aftershock again. Obviously, it's going to be an easy target for SOFM to ult away in team fights. But just you know, a bit of an interesting one. Still opting for the extra defense when you go in, and that is one of the things with Nautilus is despite the fact, you know, he's one of these melee engagers, he is far squishier than the likes of a Leona, for example, and can get blown up pretty quickly without his shield, without aftershock available.
Yeah, that's where last game we were mentioning, you know, those blade caller damage numbers coming out on the back end of the trades is what Chocho really needs to watch out for. I will point out, same as game number 1, getting contests across the board in the lanes, and same as game number 1, we get the early trades in bot lane, but also the opposite side pathing for both junglers.
Yep, and we see Xiaohao again wanting to path towards the bot side. It's what we expected, it's what we were looking for. But SOFM, you want to be towards your Jace, you want to sort of set up the Shy for success, and you pick this bot lane, the Zyricon, because you have faith in Huanfeng and On to hold on. We saw that last game. It might be trickier this time. We'll see how it goes. But actually, Xiaohao, he's just gone for a full red side clear into potentially ganking the Shy. The wave state isn't really in a position where you can do much. It does allow ZDZ to push it in, but yeah, you won't get too much out of that.
Fortunate for the jungler of anyone's legend. Will just initiate the back after clearing that side of his jungle. They are keeping it pretty contested here. Again, the wave state, like you mentioned, just not in a good place for Xiaohao to really find anything, but they're going to force it. They want ZDZ to kind of bait the Shy into a fight, and it's working so far. The flash is coming out. The Shy didn't expect a thing.
I think it's the easy trick, right? You just go into a long trade with the Shy, and you know he's gonna want to look for the all-in. There's no way this man doesn't try and find it.
He's like, they're focusing bot lane. They're not gonna come up here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sneaky one from Xiaohao, right? They knew he was on the top side of the map, packed in top the bot, and he actually lost quite a bit from doing that in terms of farm. Like, look at the CS difference between junglers. That's the cost, right? That is 4 camp lead for SOFM. Obviously, the sort of thing here is that SOFM's cleared all his camps. There's nothing on the map for him to take, so Xiaohao has some time to catch up in his blue side, but definitely there is a cost to staying so long for a gank like that. And realistically, with Shy TPing back in, he doesn't actually lose that much.
But I do like it. It's a trend in the right direction for anyone's legend. It's that early proactivity we want to see from Xiaohao. Now he's got 1 kill under his belt. See what he can do. See if that confidence is built up a little bit in this player to continue to do that against SOFM.
Yeah, and keep looking for that sort of early momentum. That's what we need from this team. You need to make things happen. See On and from toying with the idea for reset here. I think when Maple hits level 6, that's where I'm hoping to see a little bit more from the side of anyone's legend, right? You can find priority mid and just move down, and I want to see Vex showing up in these bot lane dives. I want to see you applying pressure.
Keeping control of the top side up until this point. A little bit of pings actually coming to the mid lane as Angel trying to spot out Xiaohao doing his raptor. Has been consistent on that ward placement up there to the top side, but Xiaohao says, no, you're not going to see me this time.
Well, I mean, he did see him.
Well, okay, not continuously see him.
He got what he wanted, but he won't see him more. That's true. We see On once again going for some pretty heavy roams, but was spotted out on that ward, so you know, it's very aware of his positioning. This is pretty early. Often we see supports up this side of the map for the Herald, but they are really wanting to potentially threaten a dive on this stacked wave. Like, look at that wave that's built up with the Shy. They don't want ZDZ to pick this up easily, but the thing is, it's a Graves, right? He can just pretty much blow up the wave, and they know Xiaohao's there to defend.
Oh, SOFM barely getting out of that dredge line as well as On. Playing a little sneaky game of chess here with Chocho, as he did not get spotted there, and On still playing those games.
Yeah, no, Legend gonna pretty easily clear, just defend on that side of the map, clear out some vision, move back, and Weibo don't really get anything. But again, I think Weibo are fine if things go slowly. If things are inactive, they're really comfortable. They can just keep things going at this pace, and they will be happy. Anyone's actually going to move down to his bot side. They could look for something, right? This is now Maple with his ultimate available.
Exactly, and they got priority in the bot side. They are pinging onto the Dragon Pit here or towards bot side. And they just want to utilize some of this priority they've gained for themselves, the strength they have through Maple in the mid lane, who has been pushing in Angel pretty decently, at least right now, so that they can get this first frag.
Yeah, should be able to pick this one up pretty easily. It is a Chemtech Dragon, so obviously no Chemtech Soul, which is kind of a potential downside of having that early Chemtech, but just give that nice extra stats, extra damage targets with more HP. And again, this is kind of reminiscent of that game 1, right? We did get that early activity from Xiaohao, but nothing really has come from it. It's a very slow-paced game, but I am more worried about anyone's legend in this one. Like, last game didn't go well, but at least they had things like the Victor, right? There is still threat. Anyone's legend does have backline threat, but it is so hard to see an angle where Weibo don't just win this when it goes late.
If you're on the side of anyone's legend, you're hoping you're wrong, Ox. As SOFM definitely getting some more focus towards his bot side. And again, something we set up for a lot in the beginning of the day where Huanfeng Betty, that is the AD carry matchup. That is the matchup we really see thriving for both these teams. But it's been a pretty quiet front towards that end so far, at least.
It hasn't really been too active, right? We set it up, we hyped it. I think last game was more about Angel and the Shy. We'll see how this one goes. And, you know, Aphelios has been kind of picked in this situation because it offers a bit more agency early than the Jinx. We saw, I can't remember which player was who had an interview talking a bit about how, like, you know, when you're playing the Aphelios, you have, like, in the Jinx matchup specifically, you can be more proactive, but you kind of have to be because of scaling issues. So I think Betty is going to struggle this game, though, right? How is he going to get in range to hit anyone comfortably on the side of Weibo? I don't really know. And it's going to be about closing that gap somehow, finding those windows. We do see Angel picking up the package. This is allowing him to sort of lean towards the Herald, make sure they can secure that. And in return, anyone's legend going to just take some plates from the bot side. Way too big.
Oh, they miss everything. No. Maple not able to connect the damage onto Angel in the transition there. They were waiting in the bush to see if they could catch him out.
And that's a win for Weibo, right? They avoid that play. They get the Herald. They're pretty comfortable. All anyone's letting get is a plate on the bot side.
A lot of damage on Chocho after that aftershock went down. Moonlight Vigil misses because of the Feather Storm. And Huanfeng showing the mechanics here.
And anyone's actually chunked out, right? So Weibo can just shove them in and pretty much do what they want. If they want to move, they can. If they want to set up for a Herald, they can. Angel's just going to package the wave, so Maple has to deal with it while he can move sooner. Weibo are the ones being proactive here now. Xiaohao's on a ward, so they know he's there, and I think with that, they're not going to try and go too aggressive.
Oh, yeah, speaking of aggressive, like, they just put the ward down. They know he's there. They're going to take his blue buff, because this is the punishment that you receive when you do these kinds of things, Xiaohao. Apparently, in Weibo Gaming's eyes.
And look at the poke coming out. You know, I remember when this Xayah build first came out, the quality one, and like it's been nerfed since then, but it was so
oh my
obnoxious.
God, no way. Did he get that? Or I'm sorry, I didn't check. The numbers were too smudged.
Someone got it.
Okay, no, it was Xiaohao because his smite is on cooldown. Okay, so that's nice. At least for Xiaohao, he gets away with that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's not okay for anyone's question, really.
Okay.
They are in a gold lead. They have a dragon advantage. We need to see more, right? And really, it's been slow and steady once again. And I think for me, you need to find a way, an angle in. I think bot lane is a potential option, but the problem is they have a lot of summoners. I think the other side of the map is a little bit too difficult to get set up from. But vision comes first, and I'm glad to see Xiaohao and Chocho moving around, looking to establish some control. We saw them fishing for picks earlier. That is definitely a potential option.
Looking down towards this bot side, but the reset's coming through for the Lovers duo, and Xiaohao will just go for the Krugs. And top side focus from Weibo Gaming right now, though, maybe looking towards this mid.
Nope, just camp stealing. That's all we get, right?
But that's what I love to see, right? SOFM is never not doing anything. And obviously, this is high-level League of Legends. You should always be getting something for yourself, but it just seems like SOFM is always on the right side of the ball.
Oh, Huanfeng, no Feather Storm. It's up in like 5 seconds.
Don't do it. Oh, yes, the flash. Okay. All right. It was close. It was close. On still playing pretty aggressive up there. The Rift Herald available and dropped in the mid lane by SOFM.
They're going to try and respond here, maybe. But Weibo just back up, right? They get the 2 plates they're happy with. They don't really care. And again, anyone's actually trying to go for a play bot side. Huanfeng, a little bit risky stepping up without the Feather Storm. You have to be in a longer cooldown with a flash. But the end result is the same. He gets out. Anyone's actually now looking for something, but
Chocho pops the Dread Climb and the Depth Charge onto SOFM. The Shadow Surge connected, but Maple not following it up here. Now does at the end of it. Chocho flashes over the wall. The Feather Recall is there. And look at the AoE from Betty. Oh my God. That's 200 years and the resets for Maple.
But I was thinking, like, anyone's legend are really forcing this hard. Like, does this even go well for them? They all stack up into the Infernum ult and just get absolutely rinsed there.
That's insanity. Their health bar just disappeared. They felt so confident that moment, too. They were like, all right, we're in our side of the jungle. We got them. We got the re-engage Cohen. Nah, Betty's going to make that happen. Shadow Surge from Maple is not going to let that happen.
Like, I'm watching this fight. I'm like, okay, ult from Nautilus on the Trundle, not really doing much. Maple lands the ult as well. I'm like, okay, again, this still feels pretty weak. And then it's this moment where everyone is stacked up and Betty gets this massive ultimate. Like, we even see Angel Valkyrie into it. Like, that was worst case scenario for Weibo. Probably like the only way they could like give a massive lead to anyone's legend. And they just go and throw it over to them.
I will also say in that a little piece to that was the doom and gloom being waited to pop by Maple, right? He connected the Shadow Surge, but he didn't do any damage afterwards, so he didn't pop that fear onto On, and then he turns around while they're getting Moonlight Vigil to do some damage with his AoE and the doom and gloom fear. So it's incredible team shot calling from anyone's legend there, and it's definitely put them up in this game.
Yeah, and a stern reminder to Weibo that your win con is for your carries to lay down poke, right? From a distance, not to Valkyrie into melee range of your team.
But you gotta remember last game when he Valkyried into melee range, he got a triple kill. I mean, come on. It's recency bias. Right? No, hey, come on. All right, package Valkyrie, same thing, right? They're the same national ability. Come on, you gotta give me that one. No.
Same button. That's the important thing.
That's all we go off of. Xiaohao finding On in the transition down there, still with SOFM and the Shy towards the top side. We might look for a tower to be taken out by anyone's legend in bot side. The chakrams are there. Damage is aplenty.
Yeah, and there's some of them away pretty hard now. You know Wongfang has no summoners available. Now the Shy...
Shadow Surge does not connect. The Shy able to get away here for the moment. The smoke screen to follow it up, but Maple not sticking around.
Yeah, unfortunately the ult not connecting is kind of just rules that play dumbfounded, but anyone's legend are trying to be proactive here. So if I'm going to show up bot and they have to respect that. And the thing is, right, despite the fact we got that good play, it's still only a 400, 500 gold lead for anyone's legend. And the Shy is now going to pick up this tower, secure the first of the game. And with that, it's actually going to put them in a pretty comfortable spot and a gold lead. Yeah,
I mean, he's almost like a couple hundred gold off, but he's almost at a 2K advantage over ZDZ.
Yeah, it's pretty severe right now for the Shy. So obviously get all the gold from first strike. He's got a pretty big farm lead. He's getting those plates. He's got that tower. And this is where the concern is, right? Anyone's legend can win a fight, but I struggle to see them winning out in the later stages unless they get the mother of all engages. And right now, SFM once again going for the Rift Herald. That second one should easily help them finalize these tier ones. Mid tower is already so low, so they could throw it down bot and look to secure that, and then that would really accelerate the game quite favorably towards them.
I will say it does feel good to get the Everfrost completed for Maple, the Gale Force completed for Betty, right? Like those pieces are gonna be really good in terms of, you know, navigating these chaotic fights that Weibo Gaming are presenting, and the completions and mythics in general across the board are gonna make these fights a little bit more chaotic.
Yeah, and I think particularly when you have things like the Everfrost for the CC follow-up, like that is the win con, right, that I see. Is anyone's legend getting in, Maple flies in, gets the AoE fear. That's what we're looking towards. For now, though, Betty's going to pick up the bot lane tower, and he has accrued a pretty significant lead over Wongfang, so he is comfortable in terms of like his itemization so far, getting the gold, getting the getting stuff picked up. But I'm still a little bit tentative. Right now, it's a minute 15 until that next dragon. I think maybe we're going to try and get the mid tower before that one spawns, and it's so low now. They should just pick this up pretty easily.
I just see so many eclipses on my screen, and I think it's hilarious that we've gotten to that point. We have triple eclipse on the map, obviously for separate teams, but still funny to kind of represent there as lethality is taking over, it feels like, Ox.
Pretty lethal, I'll say that much. Do you see the Herald still in pocket of SFM? Could throw that down bot, but I think he's wanting to use it potentially for pressure for the dragon. It's in 40 seconds. Both teams looking to set up for that, and I believe that is a package picked up by Angel. He's synced up. He has that ready to go.
Look at that, Ox. Man,
it is beautiful.
You're so proud. You're so proud. I hear it in your voice. That's 2 games in a row.
It's so nice. It's such a simple thing, but it makes such a difference. And now it raises the question, right? Anyone's Legend need to get in range of Weibo, but Corki has a package. It makes it so hard. If you dash in and you get burned by it, you're just not going to have a good time.
But we have to set up for Soul Point of Anyone's Legend right here, coming up very soon. The Rift Herald utilized just like in game 1 as a distraction to mid lane, and it's Weibo Gaming who put themselves in front of the pit for this Cloud Dragon.
Yeah, this is a very hard fight for Anyone's Legend to take. First, Betty has to deal with the Herald. Second, you have a package on the side, but look at this vision control established by Weibo. It is so strong. It's so hard for Anyone's Legend to move in, and if they do, they will take so much.
Look at that though. There's the blade caller, but it does not connect the roots. On the other side, you have the Shadow Surge utilized by Maple. The resets are gonna be there, and Maple wants to follow it up. You already got the flash out of SOFM. The shot coming in from mid lane though. It is a 4v5. Angel not there. Shadow Surge goes wide. On going in with a nice bit of damage, but here is where you set up the dragon fight. And it feels like Anyone's Legend is in the driver's seat here. You've got the Calibrum, you've got the Chakrams. The dragon getting oh so low. Dragon Soul Point on the board for Anyone's Legend as the dragon does not go down, but the resets are there for Anyone's Legend yet again, and they pick up on, take the dragon, and that's Soul Point.
Huge for Anyone's Legend, and a critical error from Angel, right? I have to credit the execution, but you have the package. There is no way you should ever die with the package up, because you Valkyrie, you use it to get away from these sticky situations. But what Anyone's Legend do is they actually manage to burst him before he gets it off. This play is great, but he doesn't get the kill because of the flash is available. And watch Angel, right? Look at the CC chain. He never gets a chance to press his buttons. And really, just getting caught out by like Chocho like that is disastrous. If he gets the package off, the burn will do a ton to the Nautilus, and then you remain safe. Because he didn't get a chance to use it, because Anyone's Legend had the numbers advantage, they're able to set the scenario up for Weibo. They're just trying to land some poke here, but they end up getting a little bit too close to the sun, get engaged on. And the big thing is, as much as Jace and Zaya can lay poke down, Corki is the real brunt of it. They must consistently fire those rockets. So just a critical error from Angel gives Anyone's Legend this favorable position.
A very fluid decision-making from Anyone's Legend, which I am very, very proud of at this point. They are showing up big in the second game from a first game that was very rough for them, not holding anything back in that statement. And Weibo Gaming were trying to, surge that off of the first game into the second game with a lot of the similar composition. It ain't working out the same this time. They do take the outer tower on the bot side, though.
Yeah, my concern is though, right, and this is partially due to the fact that one side has 2 first strikers, but Weibo have 3 towers. They're still up in gold, right? Despite being 7-1 in kills, they're still up in gold. And the problem is, right, this next dragon fight, if Anyone's Legend win it, they get soul, so that's great. But if they lose it, Weibo will end up with a pretty significant gold lead. They'll head to Baron, they'll end up like 5-6k ahead, and the game will just be over. So despite the fact Anyone's Legend, this is looking a lot better than game 1, it's still very precarious.
I will say Betty and Huanfeng both on their second item completions here, so not necessarily that third just yet, but still feeling pretty good. Getting lane assignments under wraps for both those AD carries. Meanwhile, we do see a trio of Anyone's Legend moving up to their jungle to try and spot out SOFM, who has been still playing very aggressive on this Trundle.
Absolutely, and he's making his presence known. He hasn't really been, there's not been too much that's happened, but the role of Trundle is to sort of set up control, have the pillar available to do things like that.
I love the fact he throws up the thumbs up. He's like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah, real smooth. It's actually one of the...
Oh my God.
My Lord.
Xiaohao's just out of the fight. He has to leave. There's no way he can stick around. Angel, now with that Mirror Mana completed, is doing work.
A lot of poke. And now tier 2 being taken mid. It's just, like I said in game 1, that death from 1,000 cuts, that constant pressure, picking up farm leads, poking people out, picking up towers. Anyone's Legend are winning the fights, right? They've won all the fights in this game. They're 7-1 on the scoreline for kills, but they're still losing the game right now.
Yeah.
They're almost 1,500 gold down, but they're up 6 kills in the lead, and it kind of just shows how rough things are. Luden's Echo picked up for Corki. Pretty big spike right now for Angel, and his poke is going to become such a problem. Now, we do have a minute 30 till the dragon. That will be that next fight. Anyone's Legend need to win it. They need the soul. Ideally, a Baron offer as well. everything's really going to come down to this.
And obviously, we're looking at Maple and Betty. We set up Maple from the beginning of this series to be one of these major carries. He is a functioning member of the team and is a major carry point of the team. And Maple's showing up big as well in this game, especially. And these two, the decision making we've already seen. Maple's mechanics are shining right now. We see the effortless push and pull of the doom and gloom. His team fight mechanics are stellar, but it has to all come together when it really matters. When this next dragon fight comes on board, when the Baron fight comes on board, because these fights are going to get harder and harder as the time goes.
Yeah, and I think a critical thing for me is the vision control. 45 seconds for that dragon. You need to set up. If you look towards the dragon area, there is just walls everywhere from the side of Weibo in the river and pushing a little bit out. We need anyone's legend to start clearing out that vision and have a bit of parity. Because the problem is, if you're playing against the poke comp and they can see you and you can't see them, it becomes so difficult to contest. Now, Angel, package again, but Maple is fishing. If he CC locks him, he might just die once more. And that is really how Weibo can lose these fights. But now they're just looking to lay down the poke, though.
Chocho taking a decent amount of damage there. You got the split push going on by ZDZ. Does have TP to join the fight. Maple on the flank here. They don't have the flanks of the Kennen. They do have the flanks of Maple. Maple getting in trouble from the package. You got a fight going on in the mid lane, though. Betty's already got a kill. What a catch out from anyone's legend. And they're pushing into the pit area. Maple in some trouble against the Shy. But so is the rest of Weibo on going in for the engage. Needs to get out of there. Has to pop the quickness. And there you go. AL will move in confidently. Can the Shy get some poke off? Yeah, Chocho needs to get away. Angel, the poke, everything is coming to fruition for Weibo Gaming as they poke down the dragon as well. 2,000 health on the objective. The Shadow Surge connects. The dragon secured. That's the soul for anyone's legend. And they also get the pick off on the Shy.
Beautiful coming out from them. Angel running out of rockets at the end, so didn't have the poke to keep going. And it's messy. I don't know how SOFM died, but it really shouldn't be happening, right? Very split. The team wasn't coordinated, and they just weren't able to lay it down the poke. So look at a replay. What is he doing? I really have no idea what the game plan was. This is a massive miscommunication. And then what was that? I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless. I'm sorry, I don't even know what to say in this replay. I'm seeing these things and it just is.
I'm seeing these things. What are these things? How do I teach these kids? But in all actuality, it's a very good decision from anyone's legend. Maybe not so much from SOFM.
Yeah, I mean, SFM I don't know what he was doing. The Shy flashing and missing that shock blast, and then anyone's legend just cleaned up the fight. You know, credit to anyone's legend. They find the route in, they find the pick on SFM, they punish the mistakes. But Weibo, these mistakes are really, man, they are something. And now Weibo's still ahead in gold, but the soul is in the pocket of anyone's legend. And the thing is, that movement speed is actually a big deal, right? The whole game plan of anyone's legend is close the gap, get onto the enemy team. Movement speed helps so much with that. So actually has quite a bit of value here. They're also trying to set up around that Baron. It's scary, right? The poke is there to be laying down. They're definitely feeling more confident now.
They are, and that confidence is key in this moment, right? We haven't really seen them be able to play to their win conditions. That's much different here in this game. Yes, they still find themselves at a goal deficit. Yes, they still find themselves in a very troubling situation against Weibo Gaming, who are scaling to infinity, it seems like. But they have a grasp on how to approach these fights. Maple is playing out of his mind on the Vex right now, and so is Betty. Xiaohao goes for the engage. The Shadow Surge connects onto Angel. Angel has to use the Valkyrie away, and quickness was also popped by On. Every time anyone's legend take a fight, it just seems like they come out on top.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, right? Weibo don't need to be fighting. They need to lay it down the poke, get anyone's legend low, and then anytime anyone's legend try and engage, they disengage. They just chunk them. They keep getting caught in these moments, and I think the problem is Weibo's comp takes quite a bit of finesse to play, right? It's not as straightforward as see champion, kill champion, run at them, right? And they are just mis-executing time and time again. It feels very messy, very split. And I'm starting to feel a little bit worried for them. 1,500 still the gold lead, but anyone's legend are definitely feeling more comfortable now.
Comfort is king on the Rift, and especially when you're getting to the late game where literally the skin of your teeth that's going to decide the difference between both teams. And now that we have finally hit the 3-item spike for the major carries on Weibo Gaming, things get even more tricky for Anyone's Legend to navigate these team fights, to navigate the damage profile that's coming out from this squad.
Oh, I love these plays. When you send like both solo lanes and your side lane, they both have TP. Angel doesn't, right? He took the barrier for survivability. If you send the Shy down bot, he will just die. So they're like, right, we have to start the Baron. There's no other choice. The enemy team know this is happening. They have double TPs to come in, but it's going so fast.
They do. TP is now being called. Both of them coming into Baron. Already down to SOFM. Weibo Gaming, they need to get away. Valkyrie used. The Shadow Surge is in there. And Anyone's Legend will find one. They get SOFM. The Shy gets away, and the rest of the members do as well.
Successful heist. Weibo will absolutely take that, right? They call the block of Anyone's Legend. They'll be able to get out. They have the ability to do so. Ult's gonna miss from Maple. They'll lay down some poke. You might have to give up mid tower, although Poke's got wave clear for days, so maybe not even that.
DDZ with the smoke screen, the flash forward, the quickness back from On. They've picked apart the fight though, and Maple already got On out of all of that. The tower falls, but here's the poke from the Shy. A lot of low health members from Anyone's Legend, but they get out alive.
Yeah, I think the play probably should have just been to give up the tower. You've now lost 2 members. It's still absolutely weird for Weibo, right? Getting the Baron there, but a little bit messy on the back end. It was just the thing, right? Anyone's Legend, I think they made a good play sending 2 down to the bot side, but you need vision control on Baron if you're going to do that. You need TP wards available, right? The only ward they had in the pit was that blue trinket ward over the wall. There was nowhere for Anyone's Legend to TP their solo laners in. If they were able to TP in on flanks, that is a very different story. Imagine if a Vex walks in behind you and you're trapped in the pit. It is so doomed. Ultimately, Weibo, get in, get out. Still have the Baron, and it's now a minute until Elder.
That Elder fight, I don't think I've gotten to see one so far this season. There's been a lot of quick games and a lot of souls gone untouched, it feels like. But this one is definitely getting to that point. We have level 16s coming across. We still have unkilled carries on Anyone's Legend. Maple and Betty really trying to keep their team in the game. ZDZ doing just fine on the Graves from the top side. And even though it was quiet up there, he's making a name in these later parts as On almost gets taken out by Maple.
The poke is so important here. Maple actually landed a fair bit on it On, but I want to see Weibo, they've got vision control, start laying down poke on the critical members, right? Angel here with the package available. The damage to Chocho, not the most significant member. I need to see Betty getting chunked. I need to see Maple getting chunked if Weibo are going to come out ahead.
Poke, so ridiculous, and it's just unrelenting. Look at that, ZDZ. He's one of the tank, like he's a frontliner. He gets taken out almost. The death charge does get used by Chocho, as it was a package utilization by Angel. Here's still the poke, but they need to get these health bars down a little bit more. Betty's still pretty much on. Oh my God, yes, that's what I was talking about. And Xiaohao's dead. Quickness popped, and the blood is in the water. The sharks are swimming. Weibo Gaming are gonna take it. They get the re-engage from Betty, but Betty goes into melee range and dies. So much for 200 years. Weibo Gaming, pull it out of a hat.
Oh, we see Betty going for a swift one at the end, but it isn't enough, and Weibo finally play their comp how it should be played to a T. They lay down the poke, they chunk out the members, and when they get them low enough, they go in. Flawless execution, and I've been waiting 30 minutes for it, but they get it when the time is needed, and now they're just going to be able to close out the game and the series.
That is all that matters. We said when it matters, you've got to pull the trigger. They did just so. They handed the first death to 4 out of 5 members of Anyone's Legend in that last fight. If that ain't a way to cap off the series, I don't know what is, as Weibo Gaming will continue to surge forward.
I just felt like they hit critical mass, right? That last fight, seeing the poke come down, we saw the engage attempt coming out with the Nautilus trying to get the depth charge. That's the power of the package, right? You just lay that down, you don't get CC'd, you end up 2 screens away, the Nautilus ends up on the worst end, and that's kind of what I was looking for. That was the moment where the comp really came together, and yes, it was messy. Yes, it was very much not looking smooth sailing, but eventually Weibo closed it out. And at the end of the day, it's 2-0, right? A convincing victory for them in the scoreline, even if the gameplay did have some questionable moments. Credit to Anyone's Legend, though, they made it close, right? That game they were punishing the mistakes. It just wasn't enough when it came to the later stages.
The Shy's just so nonchalant. I love he's just like the last one there to give the high fives. He's the last one to bow. He's just taking it easy, all right? This is just a typical day in the office for the top laner of Weibo Gaming. But the entire squad pulling out the stops here. Yes, it looked iffy, but they were at a constant 1 to 2K lead that entire time. Yes, they were losing kills. Yes, they were losing fights in front of objectives. They lost the soul even. But it did not matter when you have consistency in mechanics, consistency in playstyle, and just know how to be better.
Yeah, I mean, just be better, right? That's the game plan. I think, I think the setup for the draft was a major thing, and I was very favored towards Weibo's draft in this second game. I think, especially based on how game one is. It's not to say that the draft is unstoppable, but the big thing is we needed early agency. And as much as we saw something from Anyone's Legend, they weren't able to accrue a lead off the back of it. And I think that's the problem, right? You needed a gold lead. And every time I saw, fight one for Anyone's Legend, but Weibo are still 2K, 1K ahead, I was just getting more and more. I was like, this is worrying, this is worrying. And eventually it did get to that point. We just need to see a little more momentum coming out from Anyone's Legend if they want to be able to match up.
And for me, it's also knowing when to fight, right? Like this whole conversation was how long is it going to take for Weibo Gaming to get, fed or at least start snowballing their late game advantages. But it felt like there were moments when Chocho was trying to force fights, but if there were a couple more of those, maybe it would have worked out a little bit more in their favor because they were winning those fights. Maple was picking them apart, and Betty had a ton of reliant damage coming from the backline. But it's those things, it's those small little bits. It's taking a fight that maybe you don't have everything available for yourself. You're a little bit mistimed with that engage from Chocho. And even though there were bright moments for AL, it still ends up in a 2-0 loss for them.
Yeah, and honestly, I would have liked to have seen a bit more engaged maybe in the draft because Chocho being single target engaged makes it a bit rough. But also, you saw like the longer you wait, the longer you're forced to wait to engage, the more you just get poked out. It becomes so hard.
I mean, especially when you got three, right? You got three people poking you down.
And you have a Trundle on the enemy team. Like Trundle's because he negates Xin Zhao quite well in the early game because he can match him, he can duel him. But it's just the fact that you just throw a pillar down, right?
Yeah.
Or if Chocho goes in, you just ult him and he just gets blown up. It makes it so tricky. But they put the effort in, and I am glad to see the second game was. There was more life in them than in that game one. They were able to do more. So, Anyone's Legend, I think this is the expected result for most people with Weibo winning. But, I'm still glad that despite that, whenever we see them play, they are putting the effort in. And it feels like over a series, if game one goes badly, they will adapt, right, into game two. And they will try and fix up their mistakes. So it's still a positive to take away from this.
I got to check the LPL card of Weibo Gaming here, though. They might be the new kids on the block here this split. Not really new kids, but they just won a game in the LPL with 6 kills. I don't know if that should pass. I don't know if that's allowed. I got to check with management. It's impressive that it was that slow, steady buildup, even if I'm memeing a little bit. And they still, at every moment that they needed to execute, it worked out for them.
I love how you call them new kids on the block. It's just Suning.
That's what I'm saying. They're
right?
the new kids on the block, even though they're students. It's like somebody who puts on a mask and just walks in. It's like, yeah, I'm new. I'm new.
Yeah. Completely new, never seen before. But yeah, I mean, I think they definitely had some I just remember that team fight where SFM just died randomly. The Shy did this scuffed flash shock blast that went in the wrong direction. I was just like, what? I don't know, man. I don't even want to think about it anymore. It's a long day ahead.
Math,
right?
math, Ox, math. That's all I'm gonna say. Everything can be boiled down to math. But it was a very impressive win from, Weibo Gaming as a whole. And I do believe that we have our interview ready. It's gonna be Windy talking to Angel today. Can't wait to hear.
Hello everyone, welcome to the interview, and now we have invited Angel from WBG with us. So congratulations on this 2-0 victory. And my very first question about the bot lane champion choice, because in today's game you have chosen Zaya and Rakan this body for both games. Tell us more about the background of choosing these two champions. 那首先恭喜你们今天2-0获得了本场比赛的胜利。第一个问题也想问一下下路的一个英雄选择，因为其实今天能感觉到你们2局都选出了霞洛这样的一个下路双人组，也确实发挥了很好的一个作用。所以说能问一下选出这2个英雄的一个背景会是什么样的呢？
首先我觉得我们校2个选手玩这2个英雄都是他们非常擅长的。然后 然后我觉得这样的英雄，其实在版本来说也是比较厉害的，同时也比较适合我们队友的打法，所以就选了。
Definitely, I feel Huan Feng and all our bowling players, they're super good at these two champions, Zaya and Rakan. And also, it feels like in the current meta, these two champions can be a very strong picks. And also, it feels like these two champions really fit so well in our playstyle. So that's a reason for us to just pick these two champions into this best of three. And my next question is about game two, because in game two, the opponent's team, they even get the Dragon Soul and they have so many kills in their pocket. But we feels like WBG, you guys were able to have some gold leads, and tell us more about the mid-game communications in game two. 那其实说到第二局，感觉对面是一度拿到了龙魂嘛，而且同时有非常多的人头入账，但是你们却其实一直从中期开始有一定的经济上的优势，所以说能问一下，可能你们在面对对方的一个情况下，第二局整个的中期会是怎么样的一些战术或者想法呢？
第二局，因为我觉得我们的英雄都边线比较厉害的，所以我们当时就推断出来，我们经济应该不会落后太多。然后我们打团主要觉得我们如果先站位的话，我们都是破的阵容嘛，然后我觉得打团其实是有优势的。
So because after the ban pick phase, we feels like in our champion choices, we have some champions that can be super good in pushing the side lanes. So because of that, we feels like we will not be in the disadvantage in about the gold in the gold difference. And also, we feels like if we can have a very good position to have a very good angle in all the team fights, because we are having a very poking draft. So I think in the team fights, we can get some leads and easily win all the team fights. And yeah, in terms of the team fights, as you have mentioned, I would like to talk a bit more about the last team fight in game two, because it feels like you guys were able to find such a good opportunity to suddenly close up the game. So tell us more about the communications inside the team in the last team fight about game two. 那就像你所说的，感觉你们确实打团这方面是打得很好，然后特别想问一下，其实第二局的最后一波团战，感觉你们也是有一个非常好的配合，出其不意，而且是最后非常迅速的终结掉了比赛。能问一下当时整个队内的一些沟通啊，或者说指挥是怎么样的呢？
就当时我们先提前在中路做好了拉扯嘛，然后我们大家就一起去找对面唯一可以开团的维古斯的位置，然后感觉对面特别急的想进中右那个槽，然后我们就一直把那个入口给卡住，然后正好破到对面感觉都没血了，我们就一直追对面，然后就突然就把对面团灭了。
At that time, we were kiting around the main lane, and we would like to target on the opponent's Vex, because we feel like Vex can be the only champion for the opponent's team. They can do the hard engage, and also after that, we feels like the opponent's team and the opponent's Vex, he would like to make some hard engage around the bush or near the main lane. So because of that, we try to pay more attention to that. And after that, after the kiting, we were able to win the team fight, because the opponent's team, they really have a very low health. So luckily, because of that, we were able to close up the game. Yeah, a very perfect team fights from you guys. And my last question is, before the Chinese New Year, you're going to have another matchup against Victory 5. And also, you're going to be facing Rookie in the main lane. So what's your thoughts about this? 那其实，在年前，我们的 WBG 还会有最后的一场对决，也就是对阵上深圳 V5。那我们的安卓选手也会和 Rookie 在中路进行一个交锋和碰撞，所以能问一下你对此有什么样的看法呢？
我非常期待那场我们跟 V5的交手，因为我最近看了 V5的比赛，我觉得 Rookie 状态非常的好，所以我希望我们下一场可以打败 V5。
So I really put very high expectations to the next matchup against Victory 5, because from the current matchups from Victory 5, I really feel the whole team and also Rookie, they really have a very good momentum. They have shown us a super good performance. So I'm really looking forward to the next matchup, and hopefully we can get the victory. Yeah, definitely we're all looking forward to this, and congratulations. 那再次恭喜你们，下一场比赛要加油。And
好，
back
谢
to you
谢，
guys. Bye bye.
拜。
Mazel, I think might have frozen.
I think I was. I think I'm back now, though.
Oh no, I was just like, I saw you you looked so in depth in thought. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
thinking really hard about what he wants to say. Or maybe he's just not here.
There's a lot to break down for that one, but do want to give a huge shout out to Wendy and Angel for giving us that interview, giving us a little bit of insight into that crazy series from Weibo Gaming. I still can't get over that last game. It was so breakneck, so insane, and we also put a topper on everything. Angel gets the MVP too, so you get to hear from him, and he also gets the accolade.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of damage. Did that KDA,
That's
by the way?
insane.
What a KDA for an MVP.
I'm
But,
still checking Weibo's LPL card. I don't know, man. It's kind of sus if you ask me.
Did a lot of damage in that final fight. That was really the main thing, as we saw that setup, right, laying down the poke. The big thing was that package to avoid the engage. The Nautilus was the critical moment. But yeah, I mean, the main thing was that they came together, they figured out how to play the composition, and they found that perfect setup for it in that final fight.
A lot of poke going in, and we'll get replays of some of these moments, but it's
literally just the last fight.
Yeah, it literally is. It's
the
literally
only one
just
that
the
has
poke.
replays.
And it's such a split fight here when you see the breakdown of it, but it's the constant poke from Weibo that changes that makes the difference, rather, as you see Xiao just gets obliterated here.
Poke is so disgusting, honestly. I mean, just keeps firing poke, and the thing is, Xiao doesn't even ult, because he's like, at what point, right? You don't ult to block poke, you ult to block engage damage. And fair play to Betty for going this super aggressive double kill that he got there, diving in. But this is the problem, right? It came too late. And that's what you have to do on a Aphelios in those long range comps, is you have to like Gale Force in, burst them down, but they just didn't find the window. And that Corki was just a little bit disgusting.
Was indeed. I just think that, this Weibo Gaming squad is definitely looking like a huge star power here in the LPL. But that's going to be it for our first series. Ox, you're one down. You got two more to go in the Spring Festival Super Weekend. We're going to be saying bye. We're going to be taking a little break. Make sure you stick around, though, because we have a special performance coming up for you for that Spring Festival Super Weekend. We'll see you next time on Summoner's Rift.
some time so long ago. I just need somebody to call my own, yeah, yeah. Lying in my bed, I feel your hands on me, they're everywhere. But it's just a dream, it's all in my head. Scared to be all by myself, always and forever. I need to lose the demons from the past. Why can't I recover? I am waiting. lost control, just let it be. Instead, I'd rather meet you in my fantasies. More and more I get, I wanna feel alive and not regret. Even though it hurts, I can't go back. Scared to be all by myself, always and forever. I wanna lose the demons from the past. How can I recover? I am waiting for love. I am waiting for love. I am waiting for love, for some love, baby. I am waiting for love. 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 I'm not saying forget all your sorrows. I'm not saying don't look back. I'm not saying act like there's no tomorrow. I'm not saying leave what's holding you back. You're spinning round and round. You've lost the ground because you're stuck in the middle. Why don't you live a little? 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 I'm not saying that life must be hollow. I'm just saying some things won't last. I'm not saying that there's no one to follow. I'm just saying there's more than just one path. You're spinning round and round, and you've lost the ground because you're stuck in the middle. Why don't you live a little? 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 You're spinning round and you have lost the ground because you're stuck in the middle. Why don't you live a little? Why don't you live a little? Why don't you live a little?
对线 RNG 下路的话，对线强度尽量跟他们五五开吧，然后争取游走做的也比小明好一点。我觉得队伍现在可以敢打一点，然后运营也可以做得好一点点。
We're back! But I'm not Mazel. I am someone different. You know who I am?
Where'd
find that
Mazel
out
go?
later. Yeah, I know. In fairness, I am Mazel. I just quick changed rather swiftly. That's all you needed to know. Welcome back, one and all, to the LPL. We are into the final day of week 2. I'll be taking over from Mazel after that very strange 2-game series that I feel like should have been a 3-1. He's still Ox. I am now Oshin. And we're going to be bringing the next series coming into this one. This one is a bit of a doozy coming in. It feels like there's going to be a little bit of a low-key banger.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I feel like game 1 was more of a banger than I had the right to be, but this game...
It had no right being as good as it was.
Yeah. This game's pretty hype, right? IG, RNG, both big names in the league that we can talk about endlessly. And I think there's a lot of top quality players on both sides who we can... Well, I mean, mostly I'd say there's one person I want to talk about in particular. And coincidentally, it is coming up Year of the Tiger, and we have Xiaohu, who has been monstrous in the mid lane.
Monstrous for a little tiger. Yeah, Xiaohu has very much fallen back into his lane, feeling pretty damn confident in himself. Look at this photo. I love this little graphic right here. He is just chilling with the Tigers right now. But again, look at those numbers he's putting up. KDA 7.39. That's an average over the games he's played. 31% damage of his team, or of his team's damage on average, and 5 solo kills. He has gone from, he's no longer top lane. He should be mid lane. He's gone from top lane to the mid lane, and he's feeling fine.
Yeah, it's funny that we still have top lane on the graphic. I think that's the thing, right? RNG haven't looked flawless. They have been mistakes, but Xiaohu has looked really good mid lane, right? Very justified for the shift. There are still question marks about how this team is performing overall, but there's moments like in this fight where he just steps up and is the big carry.
Yeah, and it's just, you can see here, goes in, gets that triple fear, and is just turning everything on its head in favor of RNG. And honestly, it's been a bit of a silver lining. So yes, RNG have got a 3-1 scoreline. They are still doing very well, but they haven't been as convincing as we expected them to be. So it's still good to say that Xiaohu has been as good, if not, you know, better than he was last split as well.
Yeah, I know. I remember this was at the start of the split. This was a moment, all right. This was, I think this says a lot about Gory as well. But level 2, sorry, solo kill and the Victor Corky match. Not what you see every day, but I think he has been absolutely stellar. The thing is, though, the team as a whole hasn't looked absolutely stellar. That's where the big question marks are. You know, there've been talking points about Ali in the top lane. There's been talking points about just how the game plan doesn't seem to be as solved. You know, last split, it was you play towards Xiaohu, you're crying on the Roman things, very straightforward. And the thing is, you know, they're still doing okay, but we will be very critical of this team because they are such a storied org.
And that's the big thing. You talk about why we're so heavily critical. You know, they're 3-1. They're still like, you know, 1 loss against FBX. They're also near that top of the table. This organization demands greatness. They're not just there to make worlds, to make playoffs. As Lyric said in the previous series with RNG, they are an organization that demands championships. If I look at some of the trophy cabinet they've picked up, you know, 4 LPL championships, 2 MSI championships, 5 Worlds appearances. This is an organization that isn't just here to participate. They are looking to win the whole thing. And right now, it doesn't really strike me as a team that's going to be able to do that.
There's something missing there, though. there's something. Is there a certain title they don't have? I wonder. I wonder if
and
there's
I wonder if
title.
there's a team, that has that title that they might be facing today.
Yeah,
the all-elusive title for certain LPL teams.
Yeah, no Worlds trophy for RNG, and obviously they're up against IG, who don't have as many trophies in the trophy case, but they have the really important one, the World Championship one.
They got the skins.
Absolutely. And I think IG, I don't think the expectations are high, right? They brought in this roster a lot less storied. And again, yes, we've seen IG win Worlds. Yes, there is expectations. But I think we just have to take it as it goes. They've had some decent performances, but it kind of feels like they've been a bit hit or miss. And for me, it's kind of been like all about Jean in the jungle. And it's kind of been like, if he doesn't find success, the team kind of fails.
Yeah, it does feel like that. And you can say, like, it's a bit of a shun or bust. You know, this is a team that has a very defined identity, and they are working towards it. However, it's not the most perfect of strategies. It has, as you said, it has worked, or it has gone completely. You've been bluffing and you've had to fold straight away. So they're all in every single round. They're that friend you go and play a couple of card games with, and then every single hand, you're only trying to do it with friends. And there's all in every hand. They don't know what's going on, but sometimes it works, and sometimes you call their bluff.
Yeah, and I think times that it's worked is when the team have set him up and have played around him, and he's been able to find those moments, and it has snowballed the team and gotten them a lead, and they can make something happen off the back of that. But it's inconsistent, right? Because he'll go for those ganks, he'll go for those skirmishes, and if they don't go in their favor, then things can really end up backfiring pretty substantially.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, like you mentioned. It is the backfire that the ricochet, I suppose, or the backlash that you get once this doesn't go